producing a lot of siege tanks, and I really disagree with this so much. He really should just add a couple factories if he has that type of money and go Vulture. Imagine if he had 8 Vultures right now instead of all these extra siege tanks. See? There we go. Go down, kill that Nexus immediately, and then you're going to have 3 base against 3 base because White Raw just took that bottom left corner, and that's going to be a winning position for Terran.
Plus, you got to bear in mind, this is almost an impossible position for Protoss to defend when Vultures really have the mobility. Dragoons and Zealots do not. White Raw doesn't quite have the defenses up. Now, there is an Arbiter coming out here, which could make it tough for this Terran to keep this top left expansion if Observers and Dragoons move up there. But at the same time, if Protoss does move up to the top left, he's going to sacrifice the bottom right. Maybe he already has done that.
Yeah, it looks like he has just given up on that. Probe's still building in it, but obviously they are not going to hold it off.
They're going to be in for a shock when they pop out of that Nexus and go, why, White Raw? Why did you do that?
White Raw now coming up with the counterattack. He has plenty of units to plow through here. Strelok has a huge amount of tanks in the bottom right, really not doing anything, attacking and covering towards a Nexus that's going to fail anyways. So, you know, his units are mispositioned, and really he's been producing a few too many tanks. You know, that's a difference between a very top player and a top corner Terran. A lot of top corner Terrans, they overproduce tanks. We saw it with Super. We're seeing it now with Strelok. Vultures are the key now. This is a low economy, scrappy game. You need more Vultures.
Well, it looks like while Strelok may not be able to save this expansion, he does save the command center and manages to trap this army in here. Looks like the Panamere guy taking a little bit of splash damage here. Hopefully he won't lose or die, or we're really going to know the loser of this if you watch GOM. And now the Protoss army is getting boxed back a little bit further, but Arbiter in combination with a Reaver unfortunately lands on a mine.
Oh, and a nice Zealot bomb takes out the one Goliath, so the Arbiter is still safe. And those Dragoons picking off what they can, slowing down this expansion from being recovered. And White Raw, you know, he's fully mining off of 2 bases. White Raw, we see Strelok, very few SCVs at that expansion. He is not mining that at full capacity. It's his only mining base at this point, so that's a problem that he needs to address immediately.
You know what we might see is a recall up here depending on what's been upgraded. But you can see he's just using this Arbiter and these few Dragoons here in this position to really just buy time. The Terran is not going to be able to utilize this until he gets rid of those Dragoons. And as you can already see, that Strelok's economy is starting to suffer despite the massive advantage it looked like he had.
Yeah, and look at this. All right, so he's cleared out that little contain right, that little harass right there. And now he needs to get back on the map and set up and see where he is. Send some Vultures out, get a count on how many units White Raw has, and then decide what to do with your units. Because right now, it's a very low economy game for both players.
I do believe he dropped, I believe it was a Dragoon there.
Yeah.
Sorry, our monitor's a little bit blurry here that we're casting on. But yeah, and as you can see now, Terran has taken back this expansion. I don't know if he's going to recall here or if that was merely to cloak the units in there. It does look like it was just a cloak. Now, what Protoss needs to do is secure another gas because he's going for Arbiters. He's going to end up with too many Zealots, kind of like you see here if he keeps on getting Arbiters. A nice stasis.
Beautiful
almost
right
catching
there.
his Zealots over there. This is going to cut off reinforcements from that expansion, and there's certainly a possibility. Doesn't want to lose that Arbiter. Looks like that's going to be the case. I believe White Raw might try to run into the main here and then do a second attack over here towards that expansion at the top left, knowing that Terran, while he may have the stronger army, can't be everywhere at once.
You know, this has to be frustrating for Strelok. He had enough units if you had them all together. And look at that, targeting the ComSat. If he can get rid of the ComSats, it's going to be really hard to kill those cloaked units.
Absolutely brilliant play here by White Raw, who I assume is only using up his remaining scans in his main expansion. And stasis is the ramp. There is one vessel out, which might be his only hope of trying to really deal with this small group of units. But if that vessel is picked up, God knows where this game is going to go for the Terran. He rushes up the ramp, takes out the tank. We can only assume there's going to be more Protoss units being macroed up here for a counterattack up here at the top left. And the other scanner's going to go down!
This is excellent play, and I got to tell you what, White Raw is just, he is executing this attack flawlessly. He is using this tiny amount of units and doing a ridiculous amount of damage. Strelok has to be very frustrated right now. I am getting chills watching White Raw's micro.
This is a Terran player's nightmare, and if you look on the mini-map, I think we're going to get a shot of it in a second. The counterattack over here at the top left is coming up.
Oh my god, Panda Bear guy standing up with the SCVs that are about to go to hell.
He is dodging plasma shots from the Dragoons as we speak.
Yeah, it looks like this command center better lift off pretty quick. There's plenty of goons to finish it off. And Strelok is stretched so thin right now. His economy is so poor that I don't know if he's going to get enough units out to re-secure this base. And with White Raw taking that right-hand expansion once again, having full mining at the bottom left and his natural going, it looks like his economy is just going to pull too far ahead of Strelok.
Well, Protoss has managed to get a base over here at the bottom right. We don't have probes mining from it yet. I do believe the Vulture killed all the probes here, but we're probably going to see a transfer over there. And the Strelok has to use these Arbiters perfectly. Excuse me, science vessels perfectly. I was testing you. And he has to make sure that he gets a good EMP off here, or his army's going to get stasis, and that's going to be the game.
Yeah, you know, Strelok, it's looking bad now. He played really a brilliant game in the mid-game, but the later we get, the sloppier it becomes, and White Raw has really shown that in this really weird position, he can adapt quite well.
He is definitely a player that uses 110% of his brain. This is one of the best games I've casted. I know we already said that about one of our games here in our previous finals, but this is definitely another one of them. Very close, very high-level play. Really showing you how you can use Arbiters no matter how behind you are.
Yeah, you know, White Raw, he's using every little thing, and now Strelok, he is using whatever he has left. Looks like just a small drop here to try to harass this expansion, but I think at this point, White Raw he has too much. Strelok is not going to be able to do enough damage with this, and it looks like this tank is going to be taken out pretty easily here.
Yeah, this is not the kind of harassment that he needs to win. This game with Terran is going to need to have a good push coming up here with perfect EMPs, and right now White Raw is just starting to get back into this game. Actually, what am I saying? He's already back in this game, doing a ton of damage here.
Yeah, we just got a shot of the natural base of Strelok, and you know, he has very few SCVs. There may be about 8 to 10 SCVs mining, and I can't see him possibly winning this game. We see, you know, he does have a couple vessels. Maybe if he EMPs perfectly, beautiful EMP right there, actually. You know, if no spells get cast here, and he's very careful, he could use a couple defense matrix, perhaps, to really get ahead here. If White Raw sacrifices his whole army, Strelok could still win this game.
This game is not over yet, but we're going to find out in about a minute. You can see he's trying to force the Protoss to move in too soon. It's already worked once. White Raw backs off, realizing his mistake and losing one Dragoon, trying to get his opponent out of position, planting one siege tank here to fire at probes and that cannon, but taking out the vessels!
Takes out that one vessel that had 200 energy on it. That is painful. He could have really used that defense matrix on that front tank, on a Vulture as well. But no, the Speed Zealot's just going through, cleaning up these siege tanks, and it really looks like Strelok is dead at this point.
I think we can say this game is over.
Yeah, I believe so. It is over.
According to my nerd calculations, this game is over.
That's right. I take your word on that one. It looks...
Whoa, and what happened up here? And now it's really over.
Yeah, now Strelok is looking around counting. He has 256 minerals. He has about 3 SCVs and a Vulture. No, 4 Vultures.
4 Vultures. All
Yeah.
right, he's not doing that bad after all.
No, you know, I think even 4 Vultures with their subterranean nuclear bombs are not going to be enough to take out this Protoss army. So
He has almost as many Vultures as Protoss has Arbiters right now.
Yeah.
Oh, no, maybe he has 5 Vultures now.
Yeah, it could be, but it looks like White Raw is going to take this down and go up. This is going to be 2-1 for him.
Right, I think so.
He did start out 1-0 with the series coming out of the winter bracket, so if White Raw can take one more game after this one, he is going to be the player that goes to Korea.
Well, it's certainly a possibility. It just seems like anything is possible with White Raw. This is why this is one of the few foreigners who I really do sit down and study his replays, because I learn so much from them.
Yeah, you know, he has shown us that he knows build orders, he knows timings, and he can play freestyle with the best of them. I mean, this is some of the best freestyle Protoss play that I have seen in a very long time. This has been a very peculiar game, and he handled it just exceedingly well.
Well, it looks like Strelok is not going to give up yet. I think we've lost a lot of the momentum in this game. Right there it is. GG.
GG.
Very GG.